What's happening, people? Thank you for tuning in again to the Social Work Race podcast. It's late again, but this is the best time for me to podcast it, unless I get into the car and do it through my phone. Right now it's quiet, everyone's in bed. This is me now. And you can probably hear it in my tired voice. It's been a very long day, but again, I'm going to keep saying it. So dedicated am I to this platform. I hope you appreciate it and I hope it works for you. Do you know what I mean? Today I want to talk to you guys. I know, look, I'm going to be more accountable to myself. I keep using the term, using the sound, I'm going to beat myself for this because my wife even said to me, Curtis, you keep saying too much. I sound like a politician who does not know what to say. Shame on me and shame me back. You can email me on the socialworkrace@gmail.com and take the mic if you want. Also, if you want to contact me through that channel, through my email, should I say, with any topics you want discussed, or if you want to join me on the show, let me know. I'm sure you all have questions out there, especially if you're a student or if you're newly qualified doing ASYE. Let me know. Don't be afraid, or you can just ask your questions and I'll answer them happily. I just wanted to drop a nugget for you, for those of you who are, in fact, this is to everyone really, but especially to my students and my newly qualified in the ASYE. I really want to drop this one. This one's deep for me because it's attached to my previous podcast. And then he said, did you hear it? Did you hear it come in? It's attached to my previous podcast where people don't feel listened to. That was the number one complaint in the thousands through my TikTok channel, The Social Work Race, right? One thing that I advocate is that if you're going to work with someone, you've kind of got to win them over. Now, it won't always be the case. That's the reality. But what we do know is that we have a better chance if we communicate better. Excuse me. It's cold season, so here we go. So if we're going to work with families, we need to win them over. There are certain things that we need to say or present because obviously we're judged before we step through the door. Sometimes families are going to hide. I mean, I had a situation today where I could hear a particular family member hiding the fact that there is abuse going on in the home, right? I can hear in their language. Now I have to win their trust to get them to talk to me because they feel that I'm going to come in and start taking their kids. Do you see? So if I storm in there, and don't get me wrong, there are times when you have to storm in, but it's so rare. In reality, in social work, that's a rare thing. But if I ever have to do that, that's what I have to do. But for the most part, to get the best outcomes, it's always good to have to have families and children, parents and children on side, right? Now, when we've got them on side, okay, or in an attempt to get them on side, should I say, we should be careful about the language that we use. I'll give an example. I think I've spoken about this on a previous podcast, but it's just a tip that really does shape our approach and our mindset as a whole, okay? And it's, for example, I work in children and families, and I would say, instead of saying to a family, I'm going to put you on a child in need plan or child protection plan, you say to the family, I want to support you with a plan because I think that your child is in need. Do you get that? I can't let this one go. I might even podcast on this verbatim again. I mean, because it's the way you sell it. Do you know what I mean? It's the way you sell it. Sorry if I'm just coughing. It's the way you sell it. And actually, you're actually there to say, because the initial approach of I'm going to put you on a plan means I have power, I have control, you are threatened, you are secondary. And this is a man and a woman's family. This is the parents' domain, and you have just invaded. But if you change your language, you tell them a different story. You tell them that you are there for them. You're saying to them, I want to support you. You will have access to services, and you will have a social worker, and the team will all come together to work out how best to support you, because what you are going through is not easy. That's just an example. Do you hear that? And I've found where I work that the majority of, because I work in an assessment team, so I have to sometimes sell the child in need or child protection status. And I have to tell them that this is for them as opposed to this is for us. Because if I go in and say, right, we're going to put you in a child protection plan because you're not looking after your kids. We know they're not looking after their kids. Some parents are struggling but don't feel that child protection is necessary. And so what I would do is I would say, well, look, your child is going missing, or your child is fighting you, or not eating properly, or X, Y, and Z. Let us help you, but we think that the risks are such that you will need more help and more accountability. So this status means that a social worker and the school and whoever else is involved are going to be accountable to make sure that they help you as best they can. Do you get that? So now they see it, or we're selling it at least, as a means to help. And actually, that is the original purpose. But culture can change the narrative of what that is. So culture, or the culture in your office, can change that to, they need our help. We're going to help them. We're going to enforce help. Do you know what I mean? And no adult likes that. Not even children like it. So the change of language means a change of mindset, and the language actually tells people why we're really there. So it doesn't matter what's coming out of our mouth now. If our language is actually directing as opposed to encouraging or suggesting, our language is actually telling these people, it doesn't matter what comes out of our mouth, the way we structure our words will be giving a very clear message about our intentions. We work for them. In reality, we work for them. In the same way the police do, they work for the public. When they forget that they're working for us, their language changes. This is not just police, this is social workers too. Even nurses. Sometimes we or they forget what they're doing there and why they do what they do. When a policeman feels that he has power and forgets that he's bound by the law, he will speak abusively. This is what social workers sometimes do. And that's what really gets people's backs up. So what we do is we present a helpful approach. I'm here for you. Let me help you. Okay? That makes a world of difference. It's not a guarantee, but it increases your chances significantly. I wish there was a way to measure it. But for me, I must say, just me, it's working really well. I hope this was helpful. Please share, please subscribe. And because my TikTok page is kicking off, check it out. And if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good night.